following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hangin' with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Now, your hosts, Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels, Jesse Holley, and Shannon Gross.
Welcome to the SWBC Mortgage Living Room in Frisco, Texas. And I have one question. What in the hell did we witness yesterday? Oh my God. What was that?
It's fun.
I'm having issues with the game yesterday. I'm having issues. I'll get to that in a little bit. But Nate, I know how you watch the game. I know you never give up. Did at any point you give up in this game and just be like, I'm turning it off?
No, I was just waiting for halftime. You know, I was kind of a little bit down, but I'm like, okay, well, how they gonna come out halftime? And I said, Coach McCarthy gonna give him this speech, fellas. Don't worry about the score. Just one play at a time. You know how the coach give you that? Just be the best you could be on this next play. I knew he was gonna get that speech. So
Jesse, as a player, you go into that locker room, Nate. I mean, you know what Nate's saying. That's what coaches say just to keep you from quitting on the game. As a player, do you have any hope in hell after that first quarter that you can climb back in this thing, or is it just like let's just play and see what happens?
Now, as a player, you have a little bit of hope, and mainly because you put in all of that work. You're saying, man, like something gotta shake. You know, we can't play this bad for 4 quarters. So you're hoping that, like Nate said, when you go into the locker room, that your fortunes will turn, and you say, you know what, like it's really that mentality. Like, man, we down, and you just need that one thing. You need that one thing to happen in your favor that says, hold on now, we got a little fight, we got a little hope. And you look to your leaders, though. You look to your leaders because those are the guys who, if your leaders start hanging their head, you like, oh, this a wrap. And they fought. And I got to give credit to Nate. When we did our scores on Friday, Nate said 1 point. He said 1 point.
Right, he did.
He said 1 point. So I got to give credit to the big dog. He said, hey, I don't know what the score going to be. Cowboys got to win by 1 point. And sure enough, gosh darn it, 1 point.
But you know what? You know what's amazing, though? You know, when Jesse tweeted out something last night, you know, and then I said, you know, that's not us. And then I kind of let it go because I'm going to tell you something. We don't know this team. Coach McCarthy thought he actually had an advantage by not showing no film of these players. But guess what? He has no advantage because he don't even know these players and what they can do. I'm being honest. Jesse, what do you think? Being serious. I mean, as he watched film, what he thought players can do and what they actually can do may be slightly different. You know, in his scheme, and Coach Nolan's scheme, and his scheme offensively, things may be slightly different. So they are seeing what players can do. Now, fortunate for them, we had a drop touchdown pass by Julio Jones. Fortunate for them,
McKinley.
Luckily, he got hurt. Okay, those were the two biggest things I thought that helped the game. The fake punts and all of that, just a part of the game. When you drop a 6, that's ugly. You know, so, and when you lose a stud player who was starting the game out, if you watch the film, Takk McKinley was bringing it. All of a sudden, that's gone. Now the Cowboys in the second half found a rhythm, my friend. And that rhythm played into the heads of the stud quarterback. Like, wow, we've been here before, Super Bowl. Wow, we've been here last year 6 times. All of a sudden, this started to play in their heads and the coaches' heads. And we got them. We cowboyed them for a change. Instead of being that cowboy team that does that, we cowboyed them. Okay.
Exactly. I was going to bring that up a little bit later. Kurt, you write an article after the game, and as a writer, usually you start writing your story before the game's over, and if the game gets out of hand, you usually start writing that because it 9 times out of 10 the game turns out, especially a game that's this far out of hand. Did you have to rewrite your story or?
Oh yeah, about 3 or 4 times. Yeah, 3 or 4 times I was starting and stopping and redoing it and changing this and that. I mean, it definitely took longer to flurry at the end. I mean, I got to admit, I thought they were toast. I thought the comeback was great, but then when they went up by 15, the Falcons went up by 15 there with midway through the fourth. I thought, man, there's no way. And it really wasn't until after the onside kick when Dak hit Lamb, for that big gain to put him in field goal range. I finally kind of was like, here we go. This is amazing. They're going to do it. But up until that point, oh man, I can't admit I was positive about it.
Yeah. All right. So let me tell you guys the way I feel about this game, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong. I did not get excited after this win because they played so bad. And they didn't live up to the expectations the first game. And yes, they came from behind and they showed resiliency. And like Nate said, normally in the past we're used to we're used to getting really close and getting the onside kick and then throwing an interception after that or missing a field goal and coming up on the short end of the stick. So the encouraging thing is, like Nate said, they out-cowboyed themselves this time. But I'm worried about this team because they played so bad, and you still should have really lost this game. Like Nate said, Julio Jones does not drop balls. That does not happen. He catches that, you don't win this game. Takk McKinley, you mentioned that. Like, there were so many things that had to go right for them just to even climb back in this that I still don't feel good about this team. I don't feel good about after the first week. I don't feel good. They won the game in dramatic fashion. I don't feel good about the way they won. Y'all talk me off the ledge, or like don't feel good about this season.
I'm gonna say this right quick. I said this at the beginning of the year when we first started talking about this. These first 2 or 3 wins, or 4 wins, or losses, whatever they be, Coach McCarthy has to learn this team. Ain't no coach that great, especially with players who have not had just winning behind them in the pros. None of these guys have had consistent winning behind them. So now coach got to come in and not only try to change the culture and get them to believe he's putting in a scheme, especially the whole defense. Offense may be a little bit different. So don't take yourself there yet. But after about 5 or 6 games, and I'm sitting here saying, well, fellas, I'm not saying that. I'm gonna tell you how it really is. But I got to give this man, as Jesse would call him, Freaky Mike. I got to give him an opportunity to get his full arsenal in place, and then I want to see that 5th or 6th game now. They got a hell of a road to go through because what they finna face in Seattle, man, is a complete team, but they had some injuries too. They defense, they don't have that stud pass rusher, but they got that stud on offense. He's a beast, in Russell.
Yeah. Jesse, how should I feel about this team?
I think you're at the right place. I think you're at the right place to be on.
You telling this man to jump off a 2-story lodge?
Tell him to book those tickets to Mexico.
I'm saying that you should bring your feet close to the edge. I'm not saying don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my edge. It's like the jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder. This team makes me wonder how I keep from going under. Because when you look at it, when you look at this team, there are things that I see in this team that are saying that ain't got nothing to do with someone putting their stamp on this team.
Right.
You fumbled the ball 4 times. Dak, you were in a position where when you fumbled the ball, you were getting ready to try to pitch that ball to somebody in front of you. Defensively, you're looking at things and saying, man, guys aren't in place. Guys aren't lined up right. Guys aren't being able to make tackles. There's certain things that has nothing to do with someone coming in, putting their stamp on things. You have to be, in this team, and I speak more so offensively, one of the main reasons you kept Kellen Moore around was because you wanted to keep the continuity. This offense hasn't changed. The offense hasn't changed. You're still running a lot of the same things, probably 90% of the same things that you ran a year ago, 2 years ago. That's why you kept Kellen Moore on, to keep the continuity. And for them to come out and to play as porous as they played early in that football game. And now they rallied, they stayed with it, but you can't dig holes, 20-point holes, 15-point holes with 5 minutes to go left in the fourth quarter and expect to win football game. That is not a brand of football that you want to play, because 9 times out of 10, look at what the stats have said. They've said since 1930 something, 440 teams or something crazy like that have been down, and the win percentage is 2%. And one team, and that was Sunday for the Cowboys, came back and won this game. Nothing about what we saw Sunday said that this Cowboys team should have won the actual game. Now they did, and we'll get to that part about the celebrating part. But right now, there is a lot for this football team that they have to worry about. There is a whole lot. But I will say this, though, Nathaniel. There is one thing that this Cowboy team don't have to worry about, and that's the guy under center. He's the one thing that you don't have to worry about right now. He helped will this team to victory yesterday. But there's a whole lot, offensively and defensively, that this team must do better if they're going to find themselves anywhere near close to being let alone a Super Bowl contender, a playoff contender.
Let's talk about.
Don't you think that?
Go ahead, Kurt.
Go ahead. Well, but don't you think that they did? Obviously, they showed resiliency. That was what was positive to me. That's what kept me off the edge, is that they proved they could fight. But they also proved that. Didn't you see they could make some adjustments? I mean, yes, that first quarter was awful. They had 4 or 5 fumbles. One was already counted down, but 4 fumbles. They only sack. But after that, they turned it around. I mean, they didn't turn it over after that. They didn't give up another sack after the first quarter. It looked like maybe the coaches made adjustments. I mean, you guys know that better than me, but that, to me, those were both positives. One, they fought back, they stayed in it, they didn't give up. And 2, it did seem like they were able to adjust and improve their play.
I think they caught a break. I think losing Tack McKinley, I think losing their safety, they caught a break, because early on in that game, when they were bringing the pressure, Raheem Moore was bringing pressure with Tack McKinley and crew, the Cowboys had no answer for that. And then when those guys got hurt and went out, Atlanta had to change what they were doing, because they didn't have the personnel to continue to do what they were doing early in that football game. The Cowboys caught a major break in this football game.
So didn't you think that Atlanta caught a major break with both our tackles out of the game?
Mm-hmm. And Lawrence hurt.
So so everybody catching breaks.
Yeah.
Right.
But one thing I agree with you, Jesse, is this right here. Is no matter what happens, our offense should be intact. And it should be more consistent. And I keep bringing that word up. Our offense should be able to get anywhere from 7 to 10 points a quarter. I believe that. And they should believe that. Our defense, it is what it is. And about 20 other teams saying the same thing secretly. Hey, brothers, our defense is what it is. They stopped the run a little bit better, especially in the second half. But like I said, I'm going to reserve that heavy criticism to about the 4th or 5th game, because I want to see what this coaching staff can do in this pandemic era. If it was training camp we've watched, and it been preseason games that the guys have gotten their feet a little bit wet, then I would probably be just a touch more harder. But right now, I just want to see, because I always say the 16-0, and I always at the end of the week find a way for the Cowboys to win. But what I saw last year was real, and it was 8-8, and all of a sudden we got these perfect records. We got all these people we put in place that we've quoted, anointed special. Well, these same people here last year that we said are special. So I got to give Coach McCarthy an opportunity to weed some of that foolishness out, however it may be, and a win is a win in this case for him. But 2 or 3 weeks from now, brother, we should be rolling offensively and defensively.
Let's talk about Dak's performance when we come back. Let's talk about, apparently they weren't able to find enough hot towels before the game to get Tyron Smith in there or find enough grace.
I'm with you, man. I tried to send a truckload over there, man, from Holly's Cleaning, and they wouldn't accept it.
and we are going to keep one particular Cowboy out of Kurt's mouth this entire show. You can find out who that is when we come back on Hangin' with the Boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again for Tailgating with the OtterBox Boys.
OtterBox, the company that builds wildly overprotective phone cases?
The one and only. But cases are just the start. OtterBox is the official outfitter of tailgating.
If they can keep my phone safe, what can they do for my parking lot party?
How about protecting your beverages from suboptimal drinking temperatures with their elevation tumblers? And OtterBox elevation tumblers come in 3 sizes: a 10-ouncer, a 20-ouncer, and even a 64-ounce growler.
Check out all the colors and sizes of their elevation tumblers at otterbox.com.
It's football season, and when you're tailgating with your friends and your family, you want the best meat on your grill. Pettigene Meats makes the best hot dogs, the Pettigene Griller, or the all-beef Franks will score. To complete that tailgate meal, Pettigene Meats has hickory smoked sausage, hot links, Polish sausage, and the best hickory smoked bacon and ham around. Available at your local retailer. And a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Pettigene Meats. Taste the difference.
We can't wait to see the Cowboys back on the field, and we can't wait to pack AT&T Stadium to watch them play. When that time comes, SeatGeek is the place to get all of your tickets. Plus, tickets to the hundreds of games, concerts, rodeos, and other live events we'll all be able to enjoy again soon. Every SeatGeek purchase is protected by a buyer guarantee, which means you'll get your money back if your event is canceled. Guaranteed. SeatGeek. Let's go.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Welcome back to the SWBC Mortgage Living Room here in Frisco, Texas. Let me tell you, Rowdy does stuff for money. Invite Rowdy to your next in-person or virtual event, birthday parties, watch parties, corporate events, special deliveries, and more. Rowdy brings games, entertainment, photo opportunities to all occasions. Visit DallasCowboys.com/Rowdy to book your Rowdy appearance today. Let me tell you guys, I went up to the Star over the weekend to get some Cowboys gear with the wife, and there was in the pro shop there, they have these 2 big columns that are LED boards next to the register, and they have all kinds of advertisement and everything, and Rowdy pops up and it's talking about book Rowdy for your corporate event. I tried to take a picture of it to text it to y'all, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm getting this picture of Rowdy because he does stuff for money." And she was like, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, we have this live read on our show, and we've turned it into this bit where Rowdy does stuff for money." She's like, "Aren't you going to get in trouble?" And I'm like, "Probably, but nobody listens to our show, so no one's going to hear it." I said, "But yeah, probably eventually, yeah, I'll get in trouble for it." So, all right, back to it. Let's talk about Dak here in a second. But one guy that I was 100% certain that he had one foot out the door, and was on his way out. And Kurt, you're not allowed to put this man's name in your mouth because you've already ruined one career here at the Dallas Cowboys.
No.
Dalton Schultz had 2 drops last week. He had the fumble early in the game, and then where did that come from, man? He caught everything they threw to him. It was like that was the only guy that Dak could find open. He was running routes. He was making catches. He was getting yards after the catch. Like, where did that come from? Was that just everyone else was covered? Was that by design? What did y'all see with Dalton Schultz yesterday?
Jesse, go ahead on, my friend.
I saw matchups. That worked in his favor. And something else, when you talk about a guy and his confidence, right? Football is a game filled with confidence. And the more that you have, the better sometimes you seem to play and the better sometimes your career seems to go. And last week, Dalton Schultz probably thought to himself, I might not play many snaps this week. They're going to give all the balls and all the reps to Blake Jarwin. So sometimes mentally, you're not always focused in the game. And then it happened. And then an injury happens, and now you're thrusted in, and now you're trying to. The speed is happening, and the game is happening, and sometimes it get too big for the moment. But then you go into the next week, and you're saying, you know what? I am TE1. I get all the reps. I'm getting all the attention. My focus is laser, and now you get into a game, and you're able to go out there and just play, and not have to worry about am I coming out, am I going in and out, and just know that I have an opportunity to go out here and make a name for myself. And he did that. The matchups were there. They worked it. He completed the catches, scored a touchdown. I mean, for me, he was one of the very, very, very bright spots of that game on Sunday. Dalton Schultz showed up, and he made people know that, hey, you know what? I know that Blake Jarwin was the guy, but now that he's gone, I'm here to stay.
And what I like about it is, before we use that kid sparingly as a coaching staff. We would have used him sparingly. Let's be honest. Well, you know what? They didn't do that. This coaching staff did not do that. And that is a difference in a player being out and we don't have to suffer at that position. Dalton Schultz showed that you drafted me, that we have to use you. And a lot of times, coaches are not held responsible for that. You like this player. You fought for this player. But when it comes time to use that player, like Tristan Hill is another one. Okay, this kid is giving us something every game. You mean to tell me that? I mean, I know a year of maturity mentally, Jesse. We know what that means in this league. But we couldn't have used this kid last year to help us. I don't know how to feel about that, man.
Kurt, don't say the man's name because keep the man's name out of your mouth because we don't need him snake bit too.
I
but
know.
He had a hell of a training camp. He was catching all kind of stuff in training camp. Is he your number one guy, or do you think they're going to go out and look for another, option at tight end? They got, Blake Bell. They've got the other kid. I don't even know his name. Did he do enough this game that he cemented himself as like, I'm the guy?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, 89 yards in his first career touchdown. He caught 9 of 10 passes. I mean, why would you look somewhere else? I don't know if you're going to find anything out there on the street that can give you that kind of production. And like Nate said, I mean, they're giving him a chance. He had, going off next-gen stats, he had 3.6 yards of separation every catch route, and that led the team. I mean, that was better than C.D. Lamb at 3.28. So whether
even our boy Mari with the 58.
Yeah.
And let me also mention this when you're talking about bringing guys in and free agents and guys off the street. Nate hit on it earlier. The only way that this coaching staff is going to be able to get this team where it wants to be is it has to keep working with it. Now, there are some occasions that you have to go and get, like I still think you have to go out and get some offensive linemen. You have to. It's a must. You got some guys hurt. You got some guys banged up. You got some guys on IR. You're going to need a little bit more offensive line help. But, I hear guys still saying, go get Earl Thomas, go get this guy, go get that guy. Well, you know what that does? Now because if you go get a free agent, like in one of those prime positions, you're not getting those free agents for those guys to be on the bench. You're getting a free agent for those guys to actually go out there and play. And you already know that they're not going to be the long-term solution. They're just a quick fix for right now. So that then continues the regression of the guys behind them, because they're not going to get the reps, they're not going to get the time to develop. So I think a lot of times you got to just keep letting guys play. Like I just love the way they did it with Diggs, and more guys like that. The more reps that you give them, the more opportunities you give them to go out there and play. That some guys, the better that they become. And if they're not killing your football team, and you see that improvement is happening every single week, continue to work with those guys. Continue to allow that development to happen, so that in the long run, you have now a roster of guys who either have significant starts under your leadership or who are starters for you under your leadership. And that's how you build depth on a football team, so that when guys go down in the future, you're not looking around saying, oh my God, what are we going to do? Who are we going to play? You're saying, oh, no, you know what? I got this backup linebacker on my team who actually has 8 career starts because I didn't bring in another guy. I let him actually play. And now he can go right in. He knows the language. He knows the verbiage. He knows what I'm looking for. And they can go out there and do what they have to do.
And a perfect example, I don't know if y'all watched that game last night with the Seahawks. They lost the corner. They lost the linebacker. And they filled in with what they had. And they're not, going the next day saying, hey, man, let's go scour the waiver wires, because there's no continuity there. And I hate to say this, but believe it or not, the guy that's in with the Las Vegas Raiders is the reason these two guys are not further along in their advancement. And that's just the bottom line. Just think, Dalton Schultz did this much right here. Just think if he would have had an extra 30 snaps last year. Just think if Blake Jarwin would have had an extra 100 snaps last year. Where would these guys be now? You don't have to wonder. It gets a certain point. God knows I fought for Sean Lee to be on this team. But you know what? Joe Thompson had 6 solos, 3 open field, nice tackles on 3rd down to stop deals. He hit a guy in the backfield. Joe Thomas? And everybody's like, wow, man, I didn't know he could do this. Well, guess what? You allowed him to play.
Let's talk about the defense when we come back. And also the man of the hour up for FedEx Offensive Player of the Week, Dak Prescott, his performance.
Zeke Elliott.
What you guys thought about that? We got to get Zeke in there for Nate. Let's talk about all that and maybe some more things if we have time when we come back on the last segment of Hanging with the Boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again for Tailgating with the OtterBox Boys.
OtterBox, the company that builds wildly overprotective phone cases?
The one and only. But cases are just the start. OtterBox is the official outfitter of tailgating.
If they can keep my phone safe, what can they do for my parking lot party?
How about protecting your beverages from suboptimal drinking temperatures with their elevation tumblers? And OtterBox elevation tumblers come in 3 sizes: a 10-ouncer, a 20-ouncer, and even a 64-ounce growler.
Check out all the colors and sizes of their elevation tumblers at otterbox.com.
It's football season, and when you're tailgating with your friends and your family, you want the best meat on your grill. Pettigene Meats makes the best hot dogs, the Pettigene Griller, or the all-beef Franks will score. To complete that tailgate meal, Pettigene Meats has hickory smoked sausage, hot links, Polish sausage, and the best hickory smoked bacon and ham around. Available at your local retailer. And a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Pettigene Meats. Taste the difference.
We can't wait to see the Cowboys back on the field, and we can't wait to pack AT&T Stadium to watch them play. When that time comes, SeatGeek is the place to get all of your tickets. Plus, tickets to the hundreds of games, concerts, rodeos, and other live events we'll all be able to enjoy again soon. Every SeatGeek purchase is protected by a buyer guarantee, which means you'll get your money back if your event is canceled. Guaranteed. SeatGeek. Let's go.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Back to Hangin Hangin' with the Boys.
We are back for the final episode of Hanging with the Boys. Shannon Gross, Nate Newton, Jesse Holly, Kurt Daniels coming to you live from the SWBC Mortgage living room. Get your single game tickets now. Don't miss your chance to come watch the game at AT&T Stadium with me this Sunday against the Browns. A limited number of single game tickets are on sale now. Get yours today at dallascowboys.com/tickets. Next Sunday. Yeah, we're going to Seattle this week, aren't we? I'm all screwed up.
Right.
Not traveling.
Are you going, Shannon?
You can't skip that game.
I'm not. No.
You going?
I might want to after we watch it, but I can't skip it. No, I'm not going. I'm not traveling this year, so it's got me all messed up. But I was there yesterday. How did that look on TV? What did the broadcast look like and sound like?
It was okay. It was okay.
Like a regular Cowboy game.
Yeah, it was okay.
So
cheering at the wrong time.
I mean, the
Booing
TV
at the wrong time.
with them pumping in crowd noise and stuff on TV, it doesn't really sound a whole lot different. But
yeah,
I mean, it was good to see a few fans in the stadium for sure.
Yeah, they had both the doors open, and the pregame wasn't that loud. I don't know if the doors being open had something to do with that, or if they didn't have the sound cranked up. But I tell you what, it felt really, it felt safe. I mean, I wasn't really concerned about going, but I was interested to see what the vibe was and how it would kind of feel. And there wasn't a lot of foot traffic in there. They did a really good job of how they traffic people where you weren't in any crowded areas. You felt spaced out. They had the seats. I think the seats that people, they didn't sell as pods. They had them zip tied where you couldn't move around and sit in them. So it was a pretty good experience. That's the first game I've watched not from the sideline in about 9 years. So it was very different. I think that's why I didn't get really excited, is just because the whole experience was weird to me. And maybe that's why I have that weird feeling about, I don't know how to feel about this team, just because the way I watched the game. But overall it was a good experience. I was pleasantly surprised that it felt like a normal football game. It just looked a little different with,
the way you're explaining this, you're taking the air out of us.
Yeah, I'm
the way you're explaining this, you should have taken the air out of us.
What do you mean?
Way to go, Shannon. You rarely ever do that. Way to go, Shannon.
How did I take the air out of you?
What did you just explain to us? Kurt, help us here. What did he just explain to us?
He's talking about his experience at the game. None of us were there, so he's sharing some behind the scenes of
that's
being
why
at the
I
game.
didn't feel I was up so high in 9 years, and I don't know what to think. And Shannon, we love you, but let's move on.
We need to hear more about Nate.
What do you want from me? What do you want from me? You want my blood? Isn't that what Emmett said some years ago?
Next topic of football.
He's just ready to talk about number 21. I'm sorry for having a little piece of a segment to myself, Nate. Go ahead, talk about Zeke. It's all you. Go ahead, Nate. The next 12 minutes. All right,
I apologize. Jesse, apologize for us, please, if you can.
I shall not.
All right, let's talk about the man of the game, Dak Prescott. First, week 1, wasn't able to put the team on his shoulders and got him to victory there at the end of the game. This week, put the team on his shoulders, his back, his haunches, whatever you want to call it, and drug them with him through 3 quarters of football and mounted an amazing comeback. Could this be he's been this guy the whole time. Is this a eye-opening moment for people to be like,
now?
Right, is he your guy?
You've been talking about Dak needing to make this his team. Is this his team now?
Jesse told y'all in the earlier segment, this is his team, man. And I agree that this is his team. And if you wear a big old 10-gallon jug hat like that after a game, it got to be somebody's team. For real.
Listen, they saved a horse and rode a Prescott. That's what you have to do. This is what you want. This is the caliber of quarterbacking that you have to have. It wasn't sweet. It wasn't pretty early on. But what you notice as the game went on, and it sucked that they had to get in this position, but because they were down so much, 20 in the first quarter, 19 at halftime, 15 in the fourth quarter, because they were down so much, you had no choice. You had to give the grace and the mercy to Dak Prescott and say, here you go, lead the way. Because there was no way you was turning the hand the ball to number 21. You just didn't have enough time to do so. Not that 21 isn't a good player, but you were battling the clock.
He's a great player.
Whatever. We got it. But we needed the time was against you, and Dak made throw after throw after throw.
Yes, he did.
And say what you want about the game and how it happens. Yes, Julio Jones didn't catch the football. Yes, the Atlanta Falcons special teams had the biggest and dumbest brain fart I've ever seen in my life. But at the end of the day, 4 has to connect. He has to find Dalton Schultz. He has to find CeeDee Lamb. He has to find Amari Cooper. He has to find Noah Brown. And all those throws have to be right. They got to be on point because you're racing against the clock. And he showed you, man, 450 yards passing. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to see Dak Prescott throwing the ball 47 times. I don't. That to me is not a recipe for success for this Cowboys football team. But every now and again, you got to say, to hell with everything else. To hell with what you wanted to do or what you may have had on your script or had in your mindset or had in your game plan. Give me the rock and let me bring this team home. And Dak Prescott did that in this football game. We wanted to see it. I think this is that step that we wanted to see. Now he has to just keep doing that. He's going to have to do that next week as well. He's going to have another great performance in order for this football team to win in Seattle.
What was the saying? You say save the horse and ride Dak?
Save the horse and rode a Prescott.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Chris Bean loved that. No, I'm saying Chris Bean loved it.
Write that down. You can
use
it on your other show.
No, keep that cut. Yeah.
You can use it on your other show.
Yeah.
Folks
Jesse's
will know. They'll think
signature moves.
They'll think it's original. So, you're welcome.
Yeah, Nate, you're welcome, big dog. I like that.
Nate, there's a country song called Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. So Jesse just put his own little spin on it. And I have a question about that.
Okay, all right. I liked it, though. It was smooth. It made Chris Bean come back into the picture.
You mentioned the cowboy hat. Dak wore a cowboy hat, a Stetson that he got on media day last offseason during our media days. And he wore that to the game. And a couple of the Falcons players wore cowboy hats. I was going to ask you, Jesse, fashion has gotten to be a huge deal with NFL players the last 2 or 3 years with social media. Like they don't ever wear the same outfit twice. They go shopping specifically for game day. They make sure we take videos and pictures of their outfits, the insides of their jackets, their shoes. Some of these outfits are ridiculous and just over the top, and Cam Newton wears the big crazy hats and everything like that. You think any of these guys wear some of this just over the top stuff or something that's a little bit ridiculous, and then they just get their ass beat on game day and they're like, man, why'd I wear this stupid crap up to the game? Now I gotta walk home in this. The cameras are gonna be on me. I gotta go to a press conference in this mess.
Yes.
It's two people I know that I know.
I'll tell you this. Dak looked damn good walking in. He had the boots on. He had the boots on. He had the tight Wranglers on and the nice fitted dress shirt. He looked good, man. I said, when you come in looking like that, you had something on your mind, and he came in and he showed it that day, Sunday.
It's two people that don't care about looking stupid. That's Westbrook, and that's the quarterback for the New England Patriots.
Cam Newton.
They stupid is them. Stupid is what they do. So, yeah. Have y'all ever seen them in something normal? I mean,
no,
but they do their thing, man. They do their thing.
It works.
Respect that.
It works for him. That's right. All right, Nate, talk to us about Zeke. Drop the ball, man. He doesn't do that. What?
No, what I was saying was, and Jesse, you will agree to this as well as Kurt, is he made those blunders. But we saw that rookie Zeke that said, okay, I've made a mistake and I've truly cost my team. But every run was a run of vengeance. And you asked that number 27 on the deal. Number 27 right now is sitting up with a big old thing that says Zeke. I love you, Zeke, on his left shoulder right now. And that's all I was saying was we knew that. I said to myself I said, Dak, we need you. We need you. But Zeke was saying, okay, when you want a reprieve, when you want to keep them honest and keep that extra guy in the box, here I come. And he ran like that. This I have no issues because we know in this league, every time we start talking about a team, we say the Ravens, then we say Lamar, we say Kansas City, then we say that Andy Reid and that kid's name. We know the faces of the franchises. If you're going to do something, Dak has to do more of what Jesse spoke of during these last segments. But I'm just saying the way he ran was that young Zeke, that young bull Zeke, like, oh, man, I've made a grave mistake here. And I'm trying to get all of it back in every run that I take. And you saw that yesterday.
But what was interesting early in that football game, watching the way that Atlanta Falcons defenders was coming at the Cowboys, they saw something on film. There was something that they saw on film because that like those weren't like errant hands. Like they were literally coming and punching at the ball. Like we saw on film that Zeke carries it loose early in the in his running, or this guy carries the ball loose because a lot of what they were doing in the first quarter, they were like deliberately going
not
for
even
that
tackling, man.
punch. Not even tackling, going for that peanut punch, and it worked. It worked in their favor, early in that game. So. It was interesting to see that, but you're absolutely right. Zeke came back and said, okay, cool, I screwed up. I messed up. Yeah. I've done something that I don't normally do. That's not who I am. And now y'all gonna pay for it. Now I'm gonna run so angry. I just had, outside of the fumbles, I just had one other issue with Zeke that entire game.
What was that, my friend?
I do not like when players start to celebrate and you're down 20 points. When Zeke gets the first down and he's doing the feed me sign and all that kind of stuff, when you're down 20, leave that stuff alone. Like, leave it alone. Get back to playing football. Truck somebody, do this. But when you're down 20 points after you've already fumbled twice, you can't get up and do the feed me thing or the swipe or any other celebration that you want to do when you're getting the door frames beat off of you.
Yeah, they were, man. But they had some... I'm going to tell you, they had to go into their own minds just because they felt like we felt.
Go into your mind, leave the celebration alone.
But you know what? They won.
They did.
They won. So
winning
I'm going to tell you, I'm with you. When I saw Zeke get up and get into a shoving match because he wanted to feed, I'm like, Zeke, go. Can you get back in the huddle? We old school, Jesse. We old school. These millennials, they feed and they swipe and they don't care if somebody else make the tackle. They swipe it, bro. I've learned to live with that, man. Like Kurt, before the show, Kurt had to run outside and tell his son with his 8 cell phones, hey, man, I'm trying to do a show. Oh, Daddy, I was just watching Gunsmoke from a new version of it.
Gunsmoke, yeah, that's what they were watching.
Total Recall, the remake. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
wow, but I'm telling you, man, Jesse, I was thinking on them same lines, but I have to erase that. I got 2 millennials, and they don't think. Now, my one oldest son think like an old school, but my 21-year-old, 22, this dude millennial straight up, dog. And they just don't think that way. Something bad can happen. Yeah. And I'm more worried about his bad than he is. I said, son, you ain't worried. Nah, Dad, it's going to be. Bro, okay, all right. That's just how they think, man.
Well, I tell
that's how they think.
Our fans may be worried. Fans of this show may be worried because we didn't talk about either fake punt. We didn't talk about going for 2. We didn't talk about any of that stuff, and we're out of time.
Yeah,
but you know what?
You were going on a soliloquy about building the damn
We got tomorrow.
Oh, my God.
the windows were open and how you were sitting there and they were
Okay.
ties on there. You were
Okay.
just 9-minute rant about sitting in the stadium. No.
Okay, coming from Kurt or Nate, I could take that, but you criticizing me for taking over a segment. Come on, man.
They shouldn't have went for those 2 points. It was wrong to try to go 5 yards and try
we'll talk about it tomorrow.
We're going to get into that tomorrow. Today, the show was all about these other things, about these players, about this team. Tomorrow, we can talk about the coaching, and we will talk about the coaching. Nate, thanks for bringing it, man. Jesse, thanks for bringing it.
True.
Kurt, thanks for finding the right phone in your house so we can actually do this podcast with you. Chris, thanks for taking control today and keeping the show on the rails. I'm Shannon Gross, and I might talk for a whole segment tomorrow because I feel like it. I don't know. We'll be back tomorrow talking a little more Cowboys, Falcons.
Ooh,
Hanging with the boys.
Jesse gunning up, boy. Jesse gunning up.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!